Welcome back in to WK Stars Basketball Weekly. I am Dan Sheppard, sitting in once again for Coach Kimbler, who's out on special assignment this week. Coach, good to have you in, though.
Appreciate it.
This last week, be honest, it's been kind of a rough one for you. Tell me your thoughts.
It has been a rough one. And I'm going to try to be as positive as I can be about this whole week. Saturday we had a home game against Shawnee Community College, and of course they're tough. You know, they came in at 5-1, and you know, big, strong, athletic type team. They press well. They're coached very well. They're disciplined very well, and they came in Saturday and played us pretty good. Played us really good and beat us. You know, but the positive side, I see spurts. I see spurts of a team coming together, you know, for 3 to 4 minutes at a time. And when this team starts to play a 40-minute game, we're going to be really tough to beat. But again, those spurts, you know, you have that 3 or 4 minute spurt where they're all believing, and the bench is into it even. And you know, sometimes when I make a sub, that guy's not bringing that same fire, that same intensity, that same belief into, you know, with those guys on the floor that we're going on, and it sometimes simmers our run a little bit. And our guys are going to have to mature, and they're going to have to mature quick, as when the other team's making a run, to not hang our heads, to not bicker at one another. But that's the time where you come together as a team when teams are making that run. And put it into it and say enough is enough, you know, step it up on the defensive part and be a positive reinforcement to one another, you know, on the team or whoever's out there on the floor. And then that comes off with our bench too. Last night we played a game against Kentucky Wesleyan, and there was just no fire. They out-scrapped us. They out-hustled us. They were diving after balls. They were following their shot, and I mean, they played with heart last night. And right now, you know, our team was playing with heart maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then I don't know what's happened within the last 10 days, but you know, that they're not playing with heart as much anymore. And you know, I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure out and plug in and find the ones that's going to do it the right way on and off the court. And you know, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that.
The thing that got me about last night and some against Shawnee too is offensively we seem to be clicking really well at times, and then we'll come down and make a great basket, and then immediately on the other end of the floor they come right back at you and put up a big basket.
Right, and that happened all day against Kentucky Wesleyan and Shawnee, both of them. You know, we make a bucket, and we have guys, you know, jogging back down the floor instead of sprinting them to find their man. And I mean, they come right back, and you can't trade buckets in basketball, especially against great teams. You got to have defensive stops, and that's a 5-person endeavor. You know, that's everybody. That even includes the bench. That's a 5-person endeavor on the bench. You know, the bench should be chanting defense, or you know, come on guys, or plug. I mean, it's a team effort. It's a team effort, 1 through 13 of our guys, and right now, you know, we're not there. We're not there. But I have every reason to think that, you know, this team will get there on the defensive part. I mean, like you said, our offense is clicking. I think in the last 4 or 5 games, we're averaging nearly around 80 points. But the thing is, we're giving up about 96, 97. And against great teams, I know that like the Wabashes, the John A's, the Shawnees, and we get them all again. We play them all again.
I know. The schedule doesn't get any easier.
No. I don't know who made that schedule, like I've told you before. But you know, against games like that, against the great teams, the John A's, the Shawnees, that game's gonna have to be in the 70-point game for us to win. It really is. It's going to have to be a dogfight. We're going to have to slow things down. And right now, some guys are, you know, still shooting that thing firing up with 28 seconds on the shot clock instead of moving the ball around and setting physical screens and things like that. But well, I mean, we're going to get better. I promise you, we are. It's just it's a mature factor. It's a process. And just like you know, when I hate to revert back to last year's team, but the first time I had them, the first year, you know, they did the same thing. Everybody was a superstar on their high school team, and you know, that's when I think of guys like John Calipari and Coach K. It's amazing what they do with the talent to get everybody to buy in one system. It truly is amazing. But, you know, those guys are, you know, they were the big shot on their high school team, but they're going to have to let their egos aside and come together and play as a team.
Play like a team.
Yeah.
Right. All right, Coach. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the highlights from these two games with Kentucky Wesleyan, and we'll be right back. You're watching West Kentucky Stars Basketball Weekly. Hello and welcome back to WK Stars Basketball Weekly. I am Dan Sheppard, sitting in for Josh Kimbler, who's out on very special assignment today. Wishing him the best. Get back with us soon. This chair gets hotter every week, it seems like. Coach, the Saints came into town on Saturday, and we've got highlights from that game, so roll those highlights, guys.
Yeah, they jumped out on us pretty good.
Sure did.
I think they started off with a 20-4 run. But the thing is, with our guys, I don't know if we were intimidated to start the game. We were getting pretty wide open shots.
We just weren't finishing.
We weren't finishing around the basket, or our 3-pointers. Our best 3-point guys, B and Don, kind of got off to a rough start, and I think they missed 3 threes. But the thing is, we talked about what we wanted to do was attack this thing, especially off the tip, inside out, and establish presence. But when we got the ball inside, it was hard for us to counter.
Right.
Because they did have a lot of size, and they were bulky.
Got a big body there, right there.
35 right there was a man.
B's posting him up, but gee.
Yeah. I mean, he's a hoss. He's about 6. I think they list him at 6'7", 270 and 265.
He's every bit of it.
Every bit of muscle. Every bit of muscle too. And he played wide. He played big for him. We had trouble with him at the start of the game. We brought B in on him at probably about the 12 to 13 minute mark, and B kind of neutralized him, pushed him in on the block. I thought Pedro played a good game for us. I think he had 11, and we, like I said, in spurts, we started making runs. We started believing. We started coming together. We started playing with enthusiasm and fire.
Right.
And
those spurts would come just like we talked earlier. Seemed like they would come right back at you every time.
Back at, and that's the thing, with our guys, and it's a maturing process. We know when we make our runs and when they start to make theirs, we just got to stay believing. We got to stay focused about the task at hand. That was a good attack by Jay Lee. That was one thing that we didn't do to start the ball game. We kind of got the ball inside, but we didn't attack.
Right.
And Jay Lee's he's a major part of what we do. He's 6'4" and can take you off the bounce, and pretty quick for a 6'4", 230-pound kid or whatever he is. He's pretty quick.
He's a good all-around player.
Very physical. Blake with a good shot. We're still trying to get Blake going. I think Blake's still favoring that knee a lot, and that's hindering what he can do on the boards and on the defensive end. I know he can shoot the ball, and that's when I put him out there. That's what his main purpose is to do.
Right.
But we still got to get him a little bit better on the defensive end as far as rebounding and being more physical, and he knows that. He knows that.
Ben's starting to heat up here a little bit.
Yeah. Ben had a fantastic game. I believe he had 7 the first half and 21 points in the second half for a total of 28. But he was a kid that he plays with fire. He plays with passion, and we needed him this game. Thank God he did play with that.
That was a tough shot right before the half, and we had a little momentum, and then coming out of halftime, it seemed like we get that momentum going a little bit again here, Coach. Right.
We did, and we talked about that. We made some adjustments at the half, and talked about the first 5 minutes of this second half was going to get us back in the ball game, and to take great shots instead of good shots, and to be active on the boards, and to be physical. With teams like this, even though we're outsized at every spot, you can still be physical with them, putting a body on them and getting low on your blockouts and things of that nature. And teams don't like that, But we made a good run to start to have. Like I said, we cut it to 9. Look at our bench right there. Everybody was, when somebody made a shot, they were up.
Everybody was getting into it. The stands were getting loud right there.
Right. And like I said, it's that maturity factor of when they make a run back to steady the course, weather the storm kind of deal. The great things, we're going to make a run back. It's a good box up by.
It was. I thought he should have got over the back call, but it worked out for you right here. Boom shakalaka. Get that in for Brad.
He got upright. He got upright here on it. He does that in practice constantly all the time. We're still not talking on defense as much as we like. We're still not down in the stance. I see Chase Clark right there, straight-legged. You got to be down in the stance on the defensive part. And we're still right in it. You know, 15 minutes to go in the game, and we're still at that 10-minute mark.
Right.
What a move right there by big guy.
Just charges right on through there.
He's sneaky quick now.
He is.
He's sneaky quick, and he's physical. And he's physical. And there's no doubt in my mind that number 44 right there can play at a 4-year. No doubt in my mind. He's got a great shot. He's physical. He's got good defense. We've tried to work on his conditioning for the last 3 years, but he's just got that big body. It's
right.
You know, he's just a different breed, so to speak. And he's come a long way in 3 years too on that conditioning. Believe me. I'm proud. He put the work in though. He's one of those kids. I think in the interview I talked about. He's one of those kids that in his own time after practice comes to practice and gets up shots.
You're right.
And works on his own game.
Of course, working with the TV crew here, I go through the gym quite a bit. Don't tell my boss. I'm over there as often as I am. But he is constantly in there working on something every time I go through.
And, you know, he reminds me a lot of Cody Schultz from last year, which Cody had a great year last year for us. In there, he's just in there. He's a gym rat. I call them gym rats. They're constantly in the gym right here. Look at him right here. I mean, look at him playing with confidence. He's just playing with the ultimate amount of confidence right now.
I don't know if that was the shot you were looking for there, but it went in for him.
It went in for him. You know, but you know, I always talk about there. One of my old high school coaches said this: when you're playing hard, there's like a little man on the rim, and you know, if you put up a shot that maybe not go in, he might just tap it in for you because you're playing hard. And you know, that's one of those, and I believe that. I really do. If you're playing really hard and focused and playing with heart, things seem to go your way. That's just a great move. That's a 4-year university move right there.
It is.
Look at that.
It is.
Wrap it around. Only thing I don't like about it, he didn't go up strong enough. I don't like the finger rolls. I really don't. I like 2 feet, 2 hands, and trying to find some body right there on the opponent and finishing strong. Thought Tarkus gave us some good minutes off the bench here.
Right. That was a tough shot right there.
Yeah, that was a tough shot.
The hoop.
So I'll try to keep them to keep fighting.
Right.
You know, don't give up.
At this point, I don't know if you can see in the highlights, but it seemed like the game starts to really stretch out in the last 5 minutes.
Right. Well, I think, you know, we put some guys in at the end right there, and I don't know if they were trying to get on the scoreboard or what, but you know, they weren't being patient in our offense, and they were jacking up threes, and it was leading to their breakaways, and we'd foul. I think they got 6 or 7 and ones for the game. Right. And you know, I believe on the free throw line, they hardly missed from the free throw line. I think they missed 5 free throws out of 26, so 21 for 26. So that's pretty good. I mean, they're effective. They're a great team, and you know, Shawnee took it to us. They took it to us. But we got them again in December. I think it's December 13th at their place, and I think we'll be a different team by then. So a better team by then.
Well, I'm sure you will be, Coach. Thanks for those remarks about those highlights. We'll be back with highlights of Kentucky Wesleyan. Right after this, you are watching West Kentucky Stars Basketball Weekly. Welcome back to WK Stars Basketball Weekly. I'm Dan Sheppard, sitting in for Josh Kimbler today. Coach, last night got the opportunity to go cross town over to McCracken County High School and play out there. I don't know if that had an M on the floor or was that a W for us. I couldn't tell from where I was. From where I was standing.
It did look like a W. Now that you say it.
But we've got highlights from that game. Roll those highlights, guys.
They put on a great event too, man.
They sure did.
I talked to Coach Berlin-Breyer of McCracken County. We're trying to get it even bigger next year, and on a Saturday, we're just trying to make it a JUCO day, and just everybody, from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. that night, just inviting a lot of people, and making it a big event, and trying to amp it up each year. And that's right here in Paducah, so it's a lot of great basketball going.
Once again, we seem like we started out kind of slow.
Yeah, that's been our Achilles heel so far this year. Starting out slow. Maybe I need to switch something up, and at the very beginning, and maybe during warm-ups or something to get us going a little bit more. I'm not real sure yet, but I'll figure it out. Good 5-second right there by Don. That's what Don does, man. Now, of course, he's a pure shooter, but he's very, very effective on the defensive end for us. Not too many people go past Don Overstreet. Now, we want to get him when his shot's not rolling. We want to get him attacking the basket because he is 87% on the year from the free throw line. And if he hits one of those free throws, it might get them eyes open a little bit bigger, and he can hit a three. But we're trying to get him going to the basket quite a bit more.
Speaking of three, there was a three go down there. It didn't seem like we hit quite as many threes as we normally do.
Right. It's it wasn't it was a home game for us, but it really wasn't at the same time because that's the first time we've ever played a game there. And I told these guys were going to play a 2-3 zone, 1-2-2 sometimes, and pack it in and try to make us shoot threes. And not to settle for that, to get the ball inside and attack the offensive rebounds. And we started out the game not doing that, and that's why we fell behind quick.
And when you're not shooting well outside, it really helps that zone pack it on in.
Oh yeah. I think they ran man one play, and we scored off of it very easily. But, we're going to get better. We got some great shooters on our team. I'd love for anybody to play zone against us, to be honest, because we do have such great shooters. But those shots usually fall for us, and they just happened not to last night. Good defense right there. A nice, scrappy little play.
Takes it all the way in.
Still lacked that fire and intensity, throughout this whole game. You saw spurts out of one or two guys, every now and then again plays, but it wasn't five guys collectively as a whole. And that's I'm glad you brought that up, Dan. That's what you're looking for as a coach is consistency out of a player. Each game, each day in practice. If they're consistent, how can you not play them?
Right.
And if they're playing with fire and intensity and being a great teammate and doing all the things that I ask, how can you not play that young man? But we're still trying to find five guys. I think I got 2 or 3 on board right now that are consistently. But it was a great, strong fit. Chase Clark had a good game.
He had a really good first half, I thought. I
think he had around 6 or 7 rebounds the first half. He's strong. He's physical. And what we haven't seen of him this year that I know he can do is shoot the three, even.
Right.
But
I tell you what he added last night. I thought was a big help was that mid-range jump shot.
Yeah. We put him in the middle of that zone, and he's one of those that aren't afraid to square up and look and see what he's got. Because that's a tough area That's a tough area to catch that ball, and kind of like a receiver going through the middle in the NFL. You're afraid to get popped, so to speak. That same way in that zone, you got to be strong and physical and face up and look and see what you got to be effective in that zone.
You got to find those holes.
That's right. Right. Nice little float by Peyton. I thought Peyton played pretty well last night.
Well.
Which he's still. It seems like he's still a second behind on the defensive end, but he's going to get better. He's got a good work ethic. Things of that nature.
There's that mid-range.
There's that mid-range you were talking about, yeah. And Chase can do that consistently as well. I think Chase had 13 in this game, 13 and maybe 9 or 10 boards from a point guard. Be a pretty tough game last night. I thought he usually, and that's what B's got to get out of. his offense sometimes dictates his defense. And you know, if that ball's not going in that, you know, for you maybe that night, step it up on the defensive end. Be a defensive stopper. You know, and players got to realize that. You know, if the shot's not going down, okay, let's step it up on the defensive end. Let's lock somebody down.
Right.
Let's bring energy. Let's communicate on defense. And you know, that's where that role factor's got to get to. Everybody's got to know their role on this team.
Right, we're down 5 here at halftime, and I still felt like we were the better team in this game.
Oh yeah, but we were the better team by far. I think we were more talented than them, and everything. But you know, when you don't play together and don't play with fire and don't play scrappy, you're still gonna get beat.
And they had guys who were scrappy. Every one of them.
Every single one of them played hard, played together. When one person hit a three or one person hit a shot or one person took a charge, everybody on that bench was standing up cheering for them. They play extremely hard. That's the bottom line. They played harder than us. It's hard to say as a coach, and it's tough to say as a coach, but it's true.
It's a good dish right there between two players.
And them two guys grew up with each other, so they know each other quite well. See, look how scrappy they are right there. Even though we come away with 2, they were scrapping.
Right.
And what beat us a whole lot, especially in that first half, is getting back on defense. Transition defense killed us. I believe they put on a clinic how to get that ball, you know, down the court quick on the pass.
Yeah, we would score, and within 10 seconds, they've already put up another bucket.
Right, sometimes within, and it wasn't a 3, it was a layup.
Right.
A wide open layup at that.
Talking about Peyton Puckett, he's working real hard right there on that basket.
He's working tough. He's working tough.
Chase Clark does a good job hanging onto the ball there. Fortunate enough to Jay Lee gets a rebound there.
Yeah, this was a physical game. I mean, both of these teams were very undersized, so to speak, of what we're used to. But there was a lot of contact, especially down there in the paint.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm shooting video down on the floor, and I don't know if the audio's loud enough, but you can certainly hear those slaps across the arms.
Yeah. And that's one thing, you know, Jay Lee in the first half didn't, I don't know if he was awake yet or what, but the second half I told him, let's ball fake. Let's see what they do with ball fake, go find their chest, and then finish with authority. Good two-handed rebound. Saw, you know, and I hate to bring up the negative stuff again, but you know, I saw a lot of bad body language this game.
I just was thinking about that. Jay Lee did a great job on that shot there, and then afterward he just kind of hangs his head.
Hangs his head, and you know, woe is me type of deal, and you know, that bad body language has got to stop. It's got to stop. You know, and we're going to put a quick end to that really quick, especially during practice and things of that nature. But you know, we got a game, 2 more games this week. It's been a rough week for us, man. We had 3 games this week, 4 games, and gosh, I believe 7 days, 4 games in 7 days, and you know,
it seemed like a lot on my end from the video department here.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that.
I have to have a word with you next year when you're doing this schedule. I tell you, we are loaded up right now.
Oh my goodness, we're loaded.
All right, Coach, and when we come back, we'll be talking to you about the games that are coming up. Speaking of being loaded, when we come back, you're watching West Kentucky Stars Basketball Weekly. Alrighty, welcome back to West Kentucky Stars Basketball Weekly. I'm Dan Sheppard, sitting in for Coach Kimbler once again. Coach, coming up this week, it doesn't get any easier for you.
No, it sure doesn't. It sure doesn't. We got Northeast Mississippi Community College on Thursday night, and that's tomorrow night around at 7 p.m. And you know, they're a good ball club. They're scrappy. They're big. They're physical. They're quick. They got a guard by the name of Demario Jackson, and he was an All-American player last year even for them, and All-Conference. So he's going to be a tough one to guard. He's a shooting guard. He's real quick, real savvy with the ball. He gets in the lane, gets to the free throw line 7 or 8 times a game. So he's going to be a tough guard for us, but we'll be able to handle it. Then we have even one of our KCTCS system games on Jefferson Community and Technical College on Saturday in Louisville.
Right.
And this is their first year with a basketball program, and coach there has done a great job. They've already beat Swick, and they've already beaten Wren Lake this year.
Wow.
And they're
some good teams.
Yeah, great teams, great teams. And from I've called some coaches about them and tried to get a little scout report and things, and they just say, man, they play extremely hard and they're extremely disciplined. And that
Louisville area's got a bunch.
Oh, they got some talent, man. They got a lot of good talent in that area that I know. They're physical, they're strong. Again, they're scrappy, and then they play hard. And we're going to have to fight. We're going to have to fight with everything that we got on Saturday to win that ball game, and tomorrow night against Northeast Mississippi. And the guys they better come along quick. They better start clicking together quick. That's just the bottom line.
Right. Speaking of that game tomorrow night, I talked to the sports information director there at Northeast there earlier today, in fact, and they are actually going to be carrying that game live. And if you go to paducah2.org/basketball, you can check the link there and you can watch it live. They don't archive it like we do because they don't want you going and watching and scouting them. So. So the game will only be there live. Now we are trying to record it so that we can play it back for you later in the week, but that is to be announced if that happens.
But that will be live at 7 o'clock.
Right. And their pregame starts at 6:45 if you want to tune in there on Thursday night. And like I was saying earlier, Coach, I talked to Blake Long, the SID down there at Northeast, and he told me that they have not played a Kentucky team. The last time they played a Kentucky team was actually a team called the PCC Indians, came back in the 80s. So I thought that was a neat little story for you. I meant to get out of it.
I didn't know that.
I meant to ask him who won, but I didn't get that out of him.
Well, PCC was tough back back then, and always been tough. So I'm sure that was a good, hard-fought game. Right.
So we got that game coming up Thursday, and then Saturday we're going to be traveling to Jefferson. And thank you guys for tuning in to West Kentucky Stars Basketball Weekly. I also want to thank the guys over in Mayfield at WKNT Sports. They're picking us up now, and Justin Swallows and Chris Adams doing a good job over there, and they are picking up this show weeknights at 8 p.m. So
great exposure for us. Great exposure for us of what we're trying to do here at West Kentucky Basketball, and we appreciate those guys tremendously.
Right, we sure do. All right, thanks to you guys. Thanks, Coach, for being here, and you have been watching West Kentucky Stars Basketball Weekly.